2 seconds. Place and go. All right. All right. Are we ready? Alrighty. First up, to get a feel. We'll take the Aston. F1 2021. We'll do the increased top speed one. Okay. That did not feel right. laps to get adjusted. So, give me a moment. It is not, I feel it's not feeling nowhere near as strong towards feedback wise. Almost like it's not picking up correctly. Could be a brake assist thing though too. Ooh, game, you are pushing me a little bit on that one. Yeah, something's not right there. Anyway, the crucial point to make is that one, graphically the game was 1,000 times better. Although, I just realized the frame rate is fluctuating a lot. So, hang on. Is that because... Yes, that's why. Okay. Let's fix that problem now. That should synchronize everything back up correctly. Although again, it could be just the fact that, again, because they've changed a lot with this game, and a lot of things I still don't really know how much has changed. It could just be one of those things where the reason why I'm doing that a lot is because the track's just not rubbered in yet. That's the first time I've spun at this track ever, and I had no time to react. Like, it didn't even give me a slight warning, it just spun me. And God, this is just time trial right now. Let me just turn my force feedback up just a touch. Just a touch. Although I do like how they did that. Oh, yep. Something definitely not right. Although that was a white line game. The wheels were on the white line. That should have counted. Damn, it's really fucking moving. Like, I don't know how much of that you can hear. Especially considering, my game audio is still too loud. So, let's bring, the effects down and this down. That should help some. Damn. That is a lot of force feedback that is given. So let me just try the balanced. Damn, that is a lot harder on the wheel. Which makes me wonder. Hang on, let me try something. I want to do a few things here, but I want to try something kind of specific now. No, I'm not starting a career mode yet. For reasons of not every track is in the game like it's supposed to be. And I'm not happy about that. Safety car, standard, corner cutting, regular, park permit, off. Oh, they brought the corner cutting only back. Or you could turn them completely off. That's cool. Now, because of reasons, I'm gonna do that. note that assist is on right now. Okay? I don't plan to run that assist at all. What I'm seeing, however, is if the steer assist does the same thing it used to do back in 2014. Because if it does that, then I'm definitely not using it. Because, like, no. No. We'll keep it simple. We'll go ahead and drive out.
Okay, the track is green right now, so take a few laps to get the tyres up to temperature. Try and feel your way around.
Although that left and right seems a little bit faster than what it used to be, which makes me wonder. Yep, it does. So no, I won't be using it. Although it doesn't do what it used to do, which is basically take over randomly in corners, which is good. Ooh. I'll have to turn some of those effects down. For sure. 'Cause I don't want to cause too much, you know, wear on my wheels. So I'll have to turn a few of those effects down. Yeah, that, because it's happening so randomly, that has to stop. I gotta get that turned down, like, now. Like, bring that to 50, Rumpelstrip, bring that to 50. Keep you at 60, so I know when I'm off track. Yeah, that's a little bit better. That's more like how I remember it. That's better. Yeah, where now it's just a slight vibration. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Yeah, that assist is gonna come off. So when I do my career mode and that stuff, we won't use it. It's great for controller, the steer assist, but not for a wheel. Ooh, especially right there. Like, that wasn't even my fault. There we go. I will say though, the game does actually look a hell of a lot better. That is one thing I will state, is graphically this game does look 1,000 times better. We got crowds in the stand. Everything looks, and fits. Ooh. Okay, so that is one spot, and I think it's just braking that's causing that. Although, the previous game did a similar thing there too, so... And I did dampen it quite a bit there, so... And mind you, I haven't actually gone and dug for setups yet, so... Because the game is still, only been out a day, almost, by technicality. Which is the only reason why I have played it some prior to this stream. Because, yeah, it actually came out around 1 o'clock yesterday. So, yeah, a little bit annoyed at them for that, but it was okay.
Okay, just want to remind you to keep an eye on your tyre temperatures, which you can do on the temperature panel of the MFD. We monitor carcass temperature and surface temperature, and you'll get the best performance when they're both inside a normal operating window. Surface temps tend to fluctuate faster, so try a few laps with the data open and get a feel for how to control them.
One of the big key differences, though, with this game is something that is critical, and something that I was skeptical on them doing for a while, which is the fuel mode thing. We only have 2 fuel modes now. But here's the thing that I was apprehensive of. I was afraid that they were going to do it. I had a feeling they were going to implement it eventually. The engine mode lock. In this game, Nope. What just happened there was literally the steer assist.
Damage to your front wing.
Now you understand why I will not use that assist. If that means I have to spend more time learning the tracks, so be it. Because I've changed so much, so be it. But I will not use that. Now, just out of curiosity, 114, and I ran my fastest was a 110. As of this game, though, the fuel mode lock is in place. So, you have to be kind of careful on that. I've, done some testing on my other PC with my controller. And, yeah. Just be wary of that. There's a lot to go over, trust me. But right now my priority is shifting to getting into the race. But also to look at and see Workshop's not up for the game yet. $78 and 75% on street circuits or in the wet. It's best to keep this around 50. Okay. Is LB as default? It's middle on my G27. It's the middle button on my G27. You've been penalized for dirty driving a few too many times and have been banished to the Forza realm. That's funny. These have not been in the game F1 game since 2014. Well, yeah, obviously, not really something the game needs, truthfully.
Our best lap so far is a 1 minute 10.8.
So, setups aren't out yet. That's kind of annoying. Especially for someone who doesn't understand setups at all. is 70% too low of a difficulty. That's what I'm actually seeing now. 2.5 seconds. Yeah, so 70 is still too low for me and my wheel, but that's okay. .30 minutes in.
The car settings screen on your multifunction display will allow you to change various settings as you drive. Open the display with the MFD button. You can then navigate up and down to the setting you want to change.
Okay. I like this new screen, by the way. Definitely like this new screen. Now, let me discuss a few things crucially. Let me grab the hard tire and we'll go and throw a little bit of extra fuel in the car. Let's say 20 laps. So I could discuss a few things.
Checks complete. We're ready.
And plus, because they've changed how the tracks react and how much your steering reacts, I have to really kind of relearn again. It's like a whole new thing. Like, I have to relearn so many bits of the game again. Which is a good thing. So, first I want to state that I am not doing a career save as of yet, due to the fact that we are missing, as of right now, 4 tracks. However, I can confirm one small thing. They will be coming in an update for free. So they are coming. Second, I want to state that one of the major changes to this game is the fuel mode change. No more rich fuel, no more max fuel. They're both gone. And they're gonna be gone forever, because they're gone in real life. Third thing I want to mention is the fuel mode lock is now implemented. Meaning that if you're running the rule set, I would assume if you're only running the rule set, I would assume, you will not be able to change engine modes in the race. And when you start your first lap in qualifying, or your flying lap in qualifying, you will not be able to change your fuel mode during that lap. That all said, what that means is now that opens up the door for different strategies. And a thing to notice for the it's a, let me phrase this the right way. It's a way of saying that now you have to worry a little bit more about what fuel mode you run based on the wear of your engine. I will tell you, because I ran my team save yesterday for the first time in this game. I ran one race. That race, I was in standard fuel the entire time. By the end of that race, my engine was well over 10% worn. It is why throughout the rest of my team save, I'm probably going to, at least for the first couple of years, be running lean fuel. Now, my team save I've started because I like to call my team save my throwaway save. My save that I play in my spare time and do a bunch of stuff until I get, you know, my first constructor title. So I'm not really worried about, you know, how this or that goes. with my career save, that's not the case. My career save is my priority save. That said, with Imola, Portugal, Jihad, Spain not being the new variant, Abu Dhabi not having its changes, Australia not having its changes, we have a serious problem right now that the game needs to sort kind of quickly. And I mean, like, within the first 2 weeks of the game being out. We need Imola, we need Portugal, we need Turkey, because it's on the schedule. We need those tracks. Because right now, I am going to say that I cannot say that this is the best F1 game because of the fact that it doesn't have the full scheduled set of tracks. Even knowing that if you watch the launch trailer, they have the battle between Lewis and Verstappen at Imola in the trailer. Yet Imola's not in the game. Why? I can't play Breaking Point. That's weird. I don't really want to show Breaking Point. Like, I've started my, thing on it. Like, I've started it, but I don't really want to show it yet because, like, I know... Well, one, I don't want to show it yet because I'm going to absolutely destroy everybody that is facing it. Because, clearly the difficulty that I chose was not the difficulty I should have chose, needless to say. That said, I don't really want to show it either because of spoilers. I can show it though, if you don't mind spoilers. However, mind you, I'm already in the 5th chapter of it. Of God only knows how many chapters. Or no, I'm in the 6th chapter, rather. I finished the 5th chapter last night. Minutes left, and I'm starting to get the feel for the game now. Everything's starting to finally come in. Grip-wise, everything. Which is what I had a feeling would happen, is once I got used to it, and the force feedback, I would fall right back into my groove. It's just that it is... Believe it or not, I'm actually having to turn just a little bit less for some of these corners. Than what I did before. That wasn't the game's fault, that was my fault. That was my fault. So, what we'll do is here in a second, I'll go ahead and move to qualifying. We'll qualify, and then we'll do the race. Regardless of, how easy it may be, that is irrelevant. Okay? Because of reason. Now, something that did occur yesterday to me while I was in my team save, and this was something that I will say that I'm very glad they implemented. Through lap 37 till about lap 50, I could not use my DRS. Why? Because of a system fault. That is something that hasn't been back in the game in quite some time. And I do mean quite some time. Like, I remember hearing that back in the 2014 game. That's how far back that goes.
Our best lap so far is a 1:10.8.
It's time to remind ourselves of our top three, who are Hamilton,
Ooh, but only
Bottas, and Daniel Ricciardo.
2 seconds down on me by the end of that session. See how the fuel mix is grayed out? That is something that it's taken me a little while to get used to, the fact that that's a thing now. Now granted, because this is Grand Prix mode, I'm not too concerned about that. But it is worrisome. Especially considering when I started my race yesterday, I did not immediately keep the lead, which felt a little bit abnormal. Okay. Wow. I was actually able to carry a lot more speed through there than what I was expecting.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
I felt like I was coming in there way too fast. And I'm already up to level 14 in Podium Pass already. That's purely because of, you know,
And with qualifying
the full
complete,
racing and that
let's
stuff.
review our top three today. Hamilton,
109.8.
Bottas, and Max Verstappen. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Ooh, so you cannot... Wait. There we go. So, rules and flags. Formation lap that... I'm gonna actually turn that to increase just to see how that reacts. We're gonna turn this up to 75. I know that may still be too low for me. We'll change that to reduced, that to reduced. Realistic, collisions on. Yes, because if I turn those off, it will just lead to very, very bad habits for me. and will kind of defeat several points of the game. I am going to turn that on. Weather and fuel should be fine. Your weather and time should be fine. So let's go do this. Because after this, I have to get off my dad's PC, so.
All it takes is one look around the crowd. Let's run you through.
And this will be the first time we've actually ran into something that... And as you can see, it's immediately... Oh, no, it's not.
Okay, go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool, though, so don't go too high with the revs.
Well, because of reasons, I am going to actually keep it in standard fuel. Because of reasons of this is, you know... This is Grand Prix mode. This isn't in my career. In my career, I would change it to lean fuel. And will be doing that quite significantly.
No rain expected. No rain expected for the time being.
Jesus, that is real bad. A little bit there. Not that it's a big deal. Because it's just under braking that it's doing that. Let's start from a new unique cam.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Not worried about hitting Verstappen. What I'm worried about is hitting the wall. Yep, because I'm out braking him. See that? That's how you know the difficulty's too low. Although I say that, Verstappen's only a second behind me. So I am pulling away, but I'm not pulling away. Ooh, this is something new to me. I noticed this when I was running my team save yesterday for the first time. I noticed this thing as a thing, which was it seemed like I was pulling away, but like it took me over half the race to get one lap on the whole entire field. And I'm talking like 34% difficulty. Like, it was really low difficulty. And it still took me way longer. So, something they've done, obviously, is adjusted how that all works. Which is a good thing. It's actually the best thing to note so far.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Because it means that the difficulty is competitive on straights now. Which is also leading me to now understand why Lewis complains a lot, because like right now I'm not really pulling, but at the same time I am pulling away, but it's like all of a sudden the car is still like super slow.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. We're increasing our gap on the car behind by around a second a lap. Yellow flag.
I turned safety car on to increase, and yet I still don't get a safety car for
Green flag.
retirement like that. Bizarre. Alrighty, 4 laps in. And one of the other things I want to say is that one of the new things that I have to admit I like a lot is the fact that, like, the new audio setting you could turn on to make it so the audio is actually muffled when you're in the cockpit view. It's quite awesome. So it's like you're in the actual driver's helmet. I like that. Bring around this corner. Although not as tight as what I normally do.
expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
And that will be a huge test. Will be when the rain comes in. That will be the major test.
Gap to teammate behind is 9.9 seconds.
Now, there is a thing that I want to say that is
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Copy.
that could be the actual reason why we don't have the other tracks yet. And it's because these tracks here, they already had, you know, coded pretty well and everything else. And the new tracks, they don't, but they don't want to put them in too soon because of the reason that they want them to be perfect when they come in. And if that's the case, fine. But in a way, they
Be
also
careful with the front wing.
they've also really hurt the game in a way. Because, you know, I picked the game up with the knowledge of knowing that, you know, I was going to have a 23 race schedule. That's what I was expecting to walk into. That's not what I got. There's a problem there. That said, however, I'm not going to bash the game for that, because the reason why I believe that that is the case is because of all the extra porting they had to do to put it to the next gen consoles. I'm going to fault it on the graphical upgrade, and I'm having to port it to new consoles. That is what I'm going to boil it down to. Now don't get me wrong, I agree with it, you know, because the new graphics do actually look better. The tracks look significantly, I do mean significantly better. And if I run off the line, real quick, it doesn't look like I took any wing damage. God damn! Struggling to keep it on track. Anyway, if I run off the line, or off track somewhere, the one thing I was noticing yesterday through my testing was that if you run off the line ever so slightly, let me find a spot where I can actually do it, and you pick up some marbles, the marbles actually fly off the tires. It's one of the new things that is such a small, minor detail, but it's such a critical detail. But what I'm not happy about is the fact that once again, the devs have forgotten to do blistering on tires. They've not changed how the tire wear looks at all. It still has the same sort of graining pattern that you see all the time in F1, and not anything else. And we all know that that's not necessarily true for F1. That the tires all look the same no matter how many laps you run on them. No, they don't.
Expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now. The car behind is dropping back. We're seeing a gap form.
Yep, no worries, mate, no worries. I'm just sitting here racing with a 14-second lead, which, needless to say, based off of the time I set in qualifying, I thought I would be a lot farther ahead already. Now, before you ask, is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's actually a very good thing. Because, again, one of my complaints with the 2020 game was the fact that it seemed like you could pull away way too quickly. This game, at Bahrain, on my team save, I had 34% difficulty because I always run super low difficulty for my team save because I'm a winner and want championships, so on and so forth. Anyway, the point is that it took me over half of that race to lap the field. At 30% difficulty. 30% difficulty, and it took me over half the race to lap the field. Yes, I had a 2-second advantage in qualifying over, my teammate. But the fact that that speed did not translate to the race is what I'm happy about. What I mean by that is what it always seemed like the 2020 game had an issue with was I would see a 2-second gap in qualifying, right? And thank God, so that means I won't pull away by that much. No, it actually meant the opposite in the 2020 game. It meant that I pulled by 6 to 8 seconds. That's not correct. Not in the least. What I'm seeing right now, in my gap increase, is about what I should be increasing. Minus the wall tapping. Sorry, it's just that, again, because this is a new game, I tend to do that when it's new a lot. So, until I get a feel for it. So, actually, typically I would run without damage on, but honestly, through, again, my testing yesterday, damage being on isn't actually a bad thing anymore. So I'm actually gotten used to it. Now, a point I want to make is because they brought back an assist that I thought they never would bring back, is steer assist. The reason why I did not like the steer assist back in the 2014 game was because it made the game unplayable with controller. Physically unplayable. This game, however, with controller and steer assist, makes driving around the track actually more realistic. Because you get stuck to your line.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
The game is determining how much you turn. You have to give the initial input, but the game detects how much you turn. With controller. I will not be running steer assist with the wheel. I will learn the tracks again if I have to, which by all indications I'm going to have to. I still have some force feedback issues I'm going to have to adjust for sure because there's still some things my wheel is doing that I'm not liking too much right now. And it's fine, it's just, you know, the joys of a new game. It's just that for now, I'm not 100% sold on this game yet until the rest of the tracks come. I am very, very disappointed with Codemasters on that front. Granted, they did make it very clear right at the start of the game. When I first launched the game on this PC, it told me straight up, keep the game updated because the other tracks are coming for free. Defeating everybody who said that they would cost money for the new tracks. Codemasters said no.
Valtteri is in the pits.
Which, what that told me is that Codemasters still has control. The most critical thing I said was about this game. With EA taking and, you know, taking and becoming the publisher for the game. My biggest concern was Codemaster not being able to develop the game the way they wanted to. I was afraid that EA was going to make them force DLC buying, force this, force that, but clearly, through what I've seen so
Be aware
far,
we expect the grip
and
levels to start
that
falling away
first
soon.
little message that tells me that Codemasters is still the developer first, meaning that
We're
they
boxing this
get
lap.
inevitable
Give us the
say.
best in lap you can.
EA is just EA. Period. That's it. That's all they are. Is a publisher. EA is just EA. Don't like the fact that the EA Sports logo is in this game because the EA Sports brand has a very, very tainted taste for me. Because of what series have been through it, and one series that still has not come back to PC, and I refuse to give EA any respect because of this one game, and that's my hockey. Until my hockey comes back,
5
PC,
minutes until
I will never
rainfall
give EA
expected.
any
5 minutes until
any
rain.
fucking time of day. EA is not getting the time of day with this game. Codemasters is. Because Codemasters is who I fell in love with this game for.
Complete, go now.
Good stop. .6 seconds, roughly the same. The one thing I'm also
Okay,
noticing.
stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving
The
if
one
you
thing
cross
I'm
over
also
into the track.
noticing is it looks like we just have the AMG safety car so far. And the reason why I say that is because I ran Bahrain on my other PC. Bahrain was ran with the Aston Martin safety car, not the Merc. And Bahrain had the Mercedes. Which leads me to a point that I want to make. Is that going to be an issue, Codemasters? Are we going to have that much of an inaccuracy there? Not that it matters to me, because as long as we have a safety car of sorts, I'm happy at the end of the day. But there is, questions I do have to raise. And of course, the biggest one being, why is the other tracks not in the game? Why? You have been on a good streak of every game having the newest tracks when the games came out. Why? Unless, they really paid the price for that with the 2020 game because they didn't actually put the correct schedule in by the end of it. But in reality, they actually did. Because I would have hated them if they only put the 17 race schedule that it became into the 2020 game. I would have been bored by the end of that. That said, does that mean that, my career mode is never going to happen? No. My career mode is going to happen. It just is going to be slightly delayed for a bit. I'm liking this. I'm liking the new effect on cloud coverage and rain coming in. Yes, everything that I'm seeing right now is the first time I've actually seen it, so I like it because it feels more ominous than what it did before. Feels more real. Let me rephrase
We're
that.
increasing our gap on the car behind by around a second a lap.
Feels like I'm in the game. A little bit of fog coming out of the corners because of the overcast skies. That's such a small detail that, again, someone like me is going to notice, especially with so many hours in the previous game. And with this game, it's all about the small changes. Not about the big changes, about the small changes. The subtlety changes. Like, for example, this camera. This was a subtle thing. Subtle new thing. But after seeing it many, many times in, the actual races last year, Codemaster, put it in. As a camera. And I like it. Because believe it or not, I can actually race in this camera quite well. Because believe it or not, I can actually race in this camera better than I can the cockpit camera because I can actually see my front wheels properly. And all I need to judge my turning is my front wheels and my wing. The rest follow suit. But as you can see, I'm 24 seconds up. I'm not happy about being that far up, but for a good first test race, this is a good thing. Because I'd rather run a race where I test first, especially when you're factoring in what just popped up on my screen. What's that? Little water droplets. Yes, the first time. This is actually going to be the first thing that I've done for the first time on this stream. And have happened to me for the first time in this game specifically. And that's rain.
The tyre situation is an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now.
Yes, 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 Jeff. Whatever. He's still the most useless engineer ever. Though I wonder if
A
they
new
took...
strategy is available on the MFD.
Wow. That was
Confirmed.
quick. That was really quick. And also, look at the track already. With just a couple minutes of rain. See how much the track has changed already? That is really, really unique. But I like it.
The rain's getting worse. Be very careful.
Holy shit, the handling completely changed.
Valtteri is in for his stop.
Oh wow, the level of detail on my car. With the rain. The spray looks better. I thought it was snow for a second. I thought so too, to be fair.
DRS has been disabled by the stewards. DRS will be offline.
Holy shit, the difference is quite insurmountable. Like, how different the track looks right now. Like, we're not talking small change here, we're talking quite a major one.
Release, release. We'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
Now, the reason why you see my differential down to 50% is, one, I'm listening to that beginner's guide. But two, because this is actually the first time I've ever actually ran in the rain. In this game. Like, this is the first time. Genuinely. And already I could tell that there's a difference. Already, because the texture looks better. The actual track texture for where the water is actually looks better. Because if you've ever looked at, you know, blacktop, when it's rained, it looks almost identical to this. Ooh, brake assist is not kicking in as much as what I thought it would. No big deal. Went a little bit further and deeper into that corner than what I was expecting, but that's okay. Because it's all about learning and adjusting. Now,
Okay, the gap behind is 27.3 seconds.
what I wanted to see, although they do have a small problem, this spray. If you've ever watched them in the rain, their spray goes for a good distance behind them. Even past like one car, like it goes a lot farther than what the game is simulating. I know why, which is why I'm not gonna complain too much about it. It's just one of those things where I've noticed it and it's such a minor thing that I know they can't actually do anything about, because if they did anything about it, it would actually hurt frame rate more. So I'm okay with it for now. But oh man, the track texture looks so much better with the rain on it. Like, it is actually, like, one of my complaints with the previous game is it was like the track never seemed like it looked wet. Now it definitely, you can definitely tell when the track is wet.
You're pulling out a second a lap on the car
Definitely.
behind.
Now, listen closely here. I'm going to be quiet for a moment, but listen closely to when I'm under braking in this camera. See, hear the little squeak? The little, like, metal grinding? New added touch. It's so faint that I know it's hard to hear, but I hear it every corner, so when I'm in this camera. And it's just because the brakes aren't heating up basically enough, essentially, is what the cause is, which is,
Our gap behind is
Interesting.
29.6 seconds.
to think about. Wow. I've actually done really well on saving fuel, even in
You
standard
coping
fuel.
okay in this weather? We're watching the amount of standing water on the road. For now, we think it's safe to stay with the Inter.
Oh wow! See all the little water droplets on my thing? That's at least twice the amount that was on there before in the previous game. I'd have to go and look at one of the images that I have saved somewhere in the previous game that shows my halo, because like that is actually a massive improvement. Like I said, with this game, it's graphical detail, it's minor stuff. The fact that I mentioned the fact that I have to slightly relearn the tracks is because I'm used to the car reacting one way because of all the hours in the 2020 game. The problem is because of the changes that they made to the, rules for this season, the things that I was used to are no longer applied. Or I should say, no longer a thing. So therefore, the car reacts slightly differently than what it does. Which means that certain things I'm having to adjust accordingly. Wow, already at 3% on the engine. Now, mind you, this is Grand Prix mode, so that's a brand new engine set of parts, and I'm at 3%. 5% on the gearbox. That is real troubling. And we're only 30 laps into this. Now, granted, it's not all that troubling, but it is troubling for me in terms of career saves and that stuff, because already that's saying that the engine is going to basically finish at somewhere between probably 7 and 12%, roughly, if not a little bit higher than that. And that is worrisome. But I will also note that the Mercedes engine, when I selected for my team save, is only the second highest in durability. And you may be thinking, wait, second? How are they lower in durability this year? And who are they lower to? Ferrari, no less. Which, believe it or not, surprises the hell out of me. Now, granted, I know that
The gap to the car
engine
behind
sputter
is
and the durability thing is all set up by
35.5
the devs.
seconds.
So what the game says is the best may not truthfully be the best, but for the game, that's what showed as the most durable engine was Ferrari. But I chose Mercedes because I trust Mercedes power. Does that mean my team save will stick with Mercedes power all the way through? No. It'll just depend on, you know, what happens in my first year. A first year that I will mainly be doing off stream. For the first couple of seasons. Anyway. However, what we will do to fill the space until the new tracks come is, what I'll do is I will create a career save. It will be a throwaway save, which means that I'm not going to really push for anything specific. And then when the new tracks come in, we'll delete that save and we'll start my official save. My official save is the save where it becomes a lot different of a race style. But it just occurred to me that if I don't start with the career mode in tomorrow's stream, like, it's going to really bog me down and back me up quite a ways and prevent me potentially from hitting my 10-year. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily sure.
The rain looks like it's going to be getting much lighter over the next 10 to 15 minutes. There should be more grip, but don't expect a dry track.
Well, let's see if the game actually does this right. Because I've noted before that when it says it's getting lighter, you really can't tell the difference. So let's see if with this game that's different. You could definitely see there's a little bit of like sun breaking through the clouds, and you could actually see that causing parts of the track to shine a little bit, like they would if sun broke through and it was still raining. On blacktop, it kind of has that if you've ever looked at like a well polished like black car, it almost looks like that, like where it's just been repolished. Like it looks like that, like it just looks so shiny. And the asphalt is having some of those properties, which is quite nice. And again, this is ultra graphics, or yeah, very high settings. Basically the max that it could be on this PC, no joke. I'm playing at max settings. Still, minus ray tracing, of course, because I wish. I do kind of wish that I added RTX, but at the same time, they're so fucking expensive, man. Like,
The gap behind us is 41.2 seconds.
but what I was getting at is the fact that the graphical upgrade the game's done is purely because of the new consoles. That's a wonderful thing. the fact that my other PC can still run the game on high settings is also a wonderful thing. So, at the end of the day, the game is still doing exactly what it needs to do to keep the game playable on as many, you know, variants of not only console, but PCs. Because basically right now, there is like 5 graphics cards that are worth, are worth anything. My 980, my dad's 1080, the 1660, the 2080, or the 3080. The 5 graphics cards that NVIDIA has recently done. My 980 is actually a gaming 980, made by Asus that actually self-overclocks as necessary. One of the few joys of my PC. There we go. So there's what my PC's doing right now. And it's at 80% of the CPU. I'm actually kind of amazed that it has, you know, so much room still on it, on the CPU side. Wow.
Okay, the gap behind is 43.9 seconds.
Clearly, the game is not that intensive on a CPU, which is a good thing, actually. GPU is actually running at 59 degrees, nice and cool. The only thing I wish NVIDIA would add to that is a CPU temp monitor on that, because like monitoring the temp of the CPU is a good idea. And to do it through my graphics card's software, that would be great, because that is software that's directly connected, so it should be able to pull that info.
The tyre situation is an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now.
Definitely, you could definitely tell a difference in the rain, for sure. Ooh! Oh, that is so cool! It's actually bouncing off the wing. Oh, that's such a minor fucking detail. Holy shit, that is so cool. Or it's bouncing right in front of, one of the two. No, that's bouncing on the nose of the car. That's bouncing on the nose of the car. That is so cool. Yeah, look at that. You can actually see it in certain bits of the track. That is so cool. Like, the fact that I'm getting sidetracked because Raid is bouncing on this car in a new way that hasn't ever been a thing just goes to show you how much I'm really not caring about the race right now. But then again, when you're 46 seconds ahead, yeah, you don't really worry about the race. See how much the car slid there as I was coming up and around that like that? Yeah, that's where me and my dad are kind of mad at every call that was made on that one corner at Austria. Because naturally, as you saw there, I took the outside there, and naturally that forced me more to the inside. when you naturally take the outside around that corner, naturally the inner car is naturally going to come up and into that outer car. There's nothing the driver can do to prevent that. Nothing.
Our gap behind is 47.5
So that's why
seconds.
me and my dad were kind of pissed at the, the penalties there, was because physics basically says that, I could turn in this much, but naturally my car will always go to the outside. I can hit this apex perfectly, but my car will always come out of that corner on the outside of the corner. See how these corners flow like that? Like this one, where I come kind of out like that. That's what I mean. Ooh, brake assist is not helping me there at all, really. Kind of sliding there. Although I am actually seeing puddling. And I'm liking that. But it's like super dynamic puddling. Like it's actually better, it's more dynamic than it's ever been in the past. See that? Where in the game in the past, it just seemed like it just kind of appeared on one bit of the track. This track, or this time around, not so much.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Got that confirmed?
Oh shit, that was to confirm my pitch strategy for the remainder of the race. Which I should have checked the bottom box and seen if that would have actually have held. Damn it. Oh well. No big deal. But basically that was to tell me that I don't need to pit again, although I probably still will.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Okay, copy that.
It worked!
Valtteri is in the pits.
It worked! I'll be a son of a gun. It actually worked this time. Oh, wait a minute. See how everybody's coming in? I bet you. Money, I know what the game wanted. Yup, I thought so.
It might be worth thinking about putting a set of full wets on. We've seen a few people change over.
Well, team, you make the call, not me.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Understood, copy that. Valtteri is in for his stop.
Alright. We're gonna do it. We're gonna come in right here, right now, to verify something. Because I have a feeling it's not gonna be able to do it anyway. Properly anyway. And I'd be wrong.
Exit now. Look after these
Good
tires
on the
now.
devs.
We want to finish the race on this compound.
Good job on the devs. They fixed the stacking. Oh, I can't be happier about that.
The rain is getting lighter now, but it's going to take a while for the track to dry out.
Also, I like the new voice communication. Because it actually hides the mic thing from you, so you can't use it when he's speaking. I like that. Because in reality, you wouldn't want to cut your engineer off anyway, truthfully. So, and plus that there is other ways of cutting him off through pausing the game or whatever.
Okay, clear.
Though, like, seriously, I do like this new cockpit sound. Like, I like that. The fact that it virtually basically makes the sound like you're in, you know, like it, you know, you have a helmet on it is so cool. So, as of right now, all I'm gonna say is that this game is actually pretty well done. It looks better. The rain effect looks superbly better. Hell, that camera, heavy rain looks actually like real life. Like, genuinely.
The tyre situation is an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now.
42 of 70 laps. Done. I mean, check this out. I'm a minute plus ahead. And typically if I was this high up, I would already have passed the leaders in lap time. But I've not done that yet. And I think I actually know why. It's because of the fuel mix locking. By locking the fuel mix, you are forcing us to be reliant on the fuel load in the car. Which means that, yeah, we could start under fueled, but that means you're going to want to run, you know, conservatively to save that fuel. Plus the fact that I'm not actually actively using ERS that hard right now. But I did want to mention the fact that it did seem like that the energy store, it did seem like that did wear slightly slower than it has in the past.
Valtteri is in the pits.
Inters? Yep. So I could have come in and stacked it, but that's okay. I'll run one more lap. And then come in. Box this lap.
We can't take you right now. Pit in next lap.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Box this lap.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Going to. And now it seems like it is light rain.
A few teams seem to be putting intermediates on now. Come in and switch over if you need to.
I'm going to. Because there is a pace difference between inters and full wets. And it's quite a big one. It's about a second and a half difference. Now, the reason why I actually turned stereo shifts off is actually because of the fact that if I have it on and I have a pit stop set up, it forces you to take the pit stop, which I disagree with.
Up to speed now.
And it
Let's get
also
some heat
forces
into
you to
those
stay on
tires.
track if you don't have a pit stop marked. Which, again, is something they need to correct in it. It's minor, but as of right now, it's not the worst in the world.
Ten minutes left of this rain, then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes.
Ooh. Are we gonna get a full cycle? Am I gonna actually be able to judge this game on its full weather in one go? Because the big key point that I made very clear was an issue with me in the previous game was track drying after rain has stopped. Because I said that it was way too fast. If this is going to be different for this game, we will know rather quickly. When the rain inevitably stops. definitely like this new camera though. Like, I've driven this camera a lot lately, and I do like it. Like, I think I've actually found my new favorite camera. But also, I wanted to mention that I do like the new display. You know, the HUD. I do like it. The only criticism I do have is on the lap time there. And that's, you know, they didn't do something that, you know, you see the new commentator, you know, the new sector bar thing that you see on TV now, where it actually progressively goes through the sector. Yeah, it doesn't do that. And that, you know, I felt that that was shown off so early on that they could have put that in this. And maybe they still will. It just, you know, again, it's early days. It's only, you know, day one. Well, technically, as of now, day 2 of the game being out. Because the game started unpacking at noon yesterday for me. So, yeah. Took over an hour to unpack. So. But this is the second year in a row where they've launched it early by several hours. But I'd rather they did that and made it fair for everyone than have, you know, Australia get it and then, you know, so on and so forth right at midnight. I'd rather they, you know, gave it earlier based on a time zone thing just so it's fair across the board. It's actually how I prefer a lot of games with release. Instead of doing midnight. Launch the day before, just a few hours, you know, early. And, you know, for the US, it's, you know, beneficial to us, granted, because, you know, I got to spend over 6 hours in the game yesterday. Or about 6 hours in the game yesterday.
The track is drying, but it's going to take a while to clear the standing water off the line. Don't start thinking about slicks just yet.
Well, I'm looking at the track right now. I'm looking at the little bit of rain that is still coming down. And right now, as of right now, what I'm going to say is I'm liking very much what I'm seeing. However, when the rain finally does stop, that will be the real test. It does appear like, for the most part, it has stopped raining. for the most part. Track is still pretty wet right now, which is good. But I don't think it's gonna stay wet like it should. Like, I do know that if you're, your summer racing, I do know that, the track will dry out relatively quickly, especially blacktop. Because I've seen it firsthand. But it's one of those weird things where it just kind of depends on just when you're at a specific track. Now, I am gonna say, the rear view mirror, why does the road look like way lighter than what it should? That is not an accurate reflection.
It looks like we'll be running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly. Okay, we have a lap over the car behind. We can relax a little with this kind of gap.
Yeah, what would you like me to do that? Just saying.
I don't think the line is really dry enough yet to start thinking about slicks. Let's hold on to the inters for a while longer.
Because in reality, the track should be drying out based on a couple factors. Temperature, sunlight, and, actually no, those are the two main ones. Because otherwise, the only thing that's actually generating heat for the track is us driving over it.
new strategy is available on the MFD. Copy that.
I disagree with the game. Still. That's way too fast. That is way, way too quick. Wait, why are you putting medium on?
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
Game, do you not remember the rule? Hello? Clearly, the game does not remember the run rule that is so critical to why it can actually...
Valtteri is in for his stop. Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Copy.
Why would I put mediums on? Especially considering the track surface, by all indications, is still actually wet to a degree. So if I'm going to put a dry tire on, I'm going to put softs on over mediums, because mediums won't be able to generate the heat necessary.
Go, go, go.
And by F1 rule, I don't have to use the mediums.
Valtteri is in the pits. And I know it's the last set of new softs I have, but like I'd rather use them than throw mediums on and risk losing a lot more ground per se. See, it's right there. Like, oh man, you saw me nearly collide with that McLaren there. If I wouldn't have backed off, I would have. Okay, weird graphical thing, and you could call me out for it, but the fact that I could see every, like, little piece of grass
that's just like on the edge. Yeah, that's a nice touch, but way over detailed.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
Also, will say, I'm so glad they did so much on the actual like lighting. Like the game just genuinely looks so much better in every which way, and the shading on the actual purple that they used for the actual fastest lap actually looks nice. You can actually distinguish it quite well. Laps to go. 12 laps to go.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Oh yeah. Now that I've gotten used to the car now, like, there should be no problem for me to finish this race. Now that I've gotten used to it, it feels comfortable. It's, you know, it's gonna take me some time at every track, which is why I'm glad that, you know, practice is, you know, still an option and still a thing, and, you know, a thing that I do tend to use more in this game when it first comes out than I do towards the end of it. I just hope that when they put the remaining tracks in, that when they put the remaining tracks in, it's not just like one track at a time type thing. I hope that they're putting those tracks in all as one group, and that may be why they're not in the game yet. Is because they're trying to make sure that they're all prepped, and maybe even the Australia and those changes, maybe that's why they're delaying those inevitably from happening. At least as of right now.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Or maybe it was because of the stream they were doing today. That's supposed to start at like 2:30 for me. And then Thursday, F1 will be officially unveiling the 2022 car. Officially. Now, if I had to guess, because they're the leaders in technology, I have a feeling it's going to be marked with the Mercedes scheme, because I've already seen a side image of the Mercedes car, 2022 car, from my YouTube feed that I found. That looked really, really nice, but it wasn't like a real like up close shot. It looked distant, so. Because it makes sense to use one of the team cars to do it. You know, they're the ones that, you know, give all of the specifications and everything else for the actual car, and then the team builds it, because for the team it's actually more effective for them to build the car and then FIA to show it. Because when you do it that way, you know, FIA develops it and everything else and designs it, but in the end, the team builds the car, because at the end of the day, FIA doesn't need the car. Truthfully. They only need it for, you know, research and development reasons. And wind tunnel testing, really.
Mind that front wing. It'll need...
Yeah. Shush. Okay, that's what? 4 or 5 times now I've hit this one wall. Now, I wonder. We'll find out when we get to it. Because I may have to pit on the very last lap of this race, or the second to last lap of this race, if a bug is present. And it did appear in the previous game, so it wouldn't surprise me if it did again. Give me a moment. Okay. So, we're nearly done. 7 laps left. It does definitely, like, the racing does feel definitely slower. Oh my god, it does. Like, I knew the car was slower this year, but oh man, I really feel it.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
Hey Joe, got me just as I was getting ready to finish this race. This is the first test race with my wheel. The reason why I'm doing that is, again, I'm missing 4 key tracks to the schedule, and it's not looking good right now. But I will figure something out. I'm not too pleased with Codemasters on the fact that their tracks missing, especially when the tracks were known and mentioned months ago. So I'm a little bit irritated by that, but you know, it is what it is, and that, and like, again, because there's so many new tracks and tracks that need updates done to them because they're actually changing layouts slightly. Which leads me on to why the other reason why I don't necessarily want to start a career save yet, but I don't feel like I have a choice really, but to start one and get one at least underway.
This is your final lap of the race.
But the key things to note now, while we're in the final lap, is the fuel mode is now locked in the race. You have to basically pick it during the formation lap in-game, or you're shit out of luck. It is also set in qualifying, and there is only 2 engine modes now. Those are the key points to make. The other things to mention is the graphical engine looks phenomenally better. The game does actually genuinely look a lot better, a lot more real. The rumble strips feel more realistic. Driving over them, they don't seem to slow you down as much as what they did in the 2020 game. Overall, everything about the game just feels and acts a lot better.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
A truly magnificent drive then, and a great performance from the entire team to secure victory here in Canada. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Still, the one fuck up they make is, why does my character not get wet in any form during this seed? Just a minor thing. You would think with the new graphical engine of some sorts, you know, graphical changes, you would think that that would be a thing. Yeah, not so much. But 50 laps, jeez. That's not hard for me, to be fair. I'm used to that. Although it is a little bit harder because this game is definitely... I'm definitely having to learn a little bit more as we go.
So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I think for driver of the day, I'd probably pick Lando Norris. He lived up to every inch of his reputation today, and I think he'll be going home, quite rightly, a bit proud of himself.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
That is the full race replay. Now, the thing I like about this is the new way they did this is actually quite well done. That corner probably just a little bit too much there, but not my fault that I was under braking, everybody. Lap 6. Oh, I like that. I like that little phase. I mean, that's kind of cool. Lap 25. I like that. Two laps later. Oh, he hit me. I didn't hit him. He hit me. Holy shit. Wow, the detail there. Hold up. Hold up. The detail there. That is actually quite incredible. How detailed that actually is, that shot. Like, that's pretty cool. That is how you can really tell the difference in the graphical stuff, though. But if you notice, through some of these clips, you'll notice that I've hit some of the walls in these clips. Yeah, that's because the car doesn't stick the way I'm used to. It really doesn't. It doesn't have the grip that it used to have. Say. Lap 61, we're back in the dry. Oh! Oh, shit! Hi, Kimmy! Okay, that was cool. That was cool! I didn't mean to back out of it so quickly. What I meant to do was actually get to that point again. real quick because that's something that I wasn't expected to see. Ah, it don't matter. Anyway, but that's kind of cool. It jumped to a scene and it was actually Kimi Räikkönen spinning out. Like, that's kind of cool. But what we'll do is we will start stay tuned for updates that will continue to add outstanding tracks from the 2021 schedule. Say that? I'll set this all up now, but we won't be able to do much. Of it. To start, meet the press, R&D management. I don't mind that at all. Safety car standard, formation on, perk formate off because I'm just gonna match what I had before. Simulation status. 70 was too low. We'll try 90 for practice at Bahrain. We'll see how it goes. And if it's too high, we'll go from there. You know, as I've said before, I'll use 90 for my baseline from here on.
First things first, let's create your driver.
That's the one I chose for my other save. Now, the only thing they slightly fucked up is, remember how the previous game had the Schumacher name? Yeah, I can't do that anymore. So, what I've chose to go with in my team save is the same thing I'm going to go with here. And that's Ace. Number. Let's see here.
And now, let's focus on your driver's look.
Oh shit! You actually get to control it this time. Oh shitting hell, that's awesome. Although, I gotta say, I do like that helmet. you don't get control of the uniform, but you do get control of the helmet, which is good. And your video, the newest feature of this game.
That was on fire! That's a wrap, folks! Woo! Yee-haw! Thank you. I need a moment.
My personal favorite.
Last but not least, we need to decide which team to sign with. Choose carefully, because once you reach F1, the team you drive for will expect you to deliver appropriate results.
They're third on the board.
Great! That's everything we need. You can go back and edit anything we've done so far.
Figured I'll set this all up on here. So according to the game, Mercedes was still the better team, which is kind of funny, in a way. Now, does this mean that, you know, I'm going to just stick with Mercedes all the time? No. No. That doesn't, that's not what that means. You know, I'm picking Mercedes out of, you know, out of my normal habit. Doesn't mean I'm going to be with them every year. It really doesn't. It will depend on how things go. You know, through everything. Now, I will say, I do like these new R&D screens. They are way, way, way nicer. Wow. Wow. That is the other big change. No more controlling tire allocation, it's set. It's locked. I can't change it, can't do anything about it. It is set by FIA. At least according to the game. That was part of the 2021 rule set. Was tire allocation was set by the rule book, not by by the teams, which I don't know how I feel about that, but it is what it is. We have to deal with it as we go. And
Found your workstation then? Everything satisfactory? I'm Francisco, by the way. I head up R&D for the team. It's great to have a chance to finally speak with you, and I'm sure we'll be
he's a
getting to
new
know each other
voice. He's
pretty
kind of
well over the coming
pleasant.
months. But for now, I'll let you get settled. Welcome aboard.
I like hearing a new voice. Whether it's for, you know, R&D or whatever is irrelevant, you know. Now, the other big change that I want to mention now, although that's frightening, 494 laps is what it says it could go. That's a little bit frightening. Is when I start practice, it's all 3 of those sessions in one shot. It's no more just one session then back to this screen. No, it's all 3 of them in one go. So, yeah. Again, I will show more tomorrow. But I do need to get off my dad's PC. It is his, and you know, one race is all I need for today to get a feel for it. Tomorrow will be another race, and you know, a fairly large amount of practice probably, because again, they did change a lot of handling and things. So, yeah, I'm glad I got to stream it on launch day, but it's, you know, missing some key stuff that it should have had from launch in the first place. Anyway, that'll be it.